Hey now, cats, we're back again on the Balls from Ellwood show this week, and we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Xtina, for anybody just tuning in, whether it's the first time or the 100th time, can you tell the audience a little bit about what we're about?
Well, what we're about are the things that we love, like music, punk rock, ska music. We like horror movies. We like true crime. Well, I like true crime.
I like true crime.
He likes when I do.
I like when you do it.
All right, cool. So, that's what we're about, and we kind of do interviews here and there with said possible horror actors or musicians. We mix it up a little bit. We'll talk about what's going on in the world at times, and what else?
We do's what we do's what we do's.
That's right. Absolutely.
But it actually reminded me, we actually have an interview this week.
Mm-hmm.
I actually interviewed Sky Elobar, who is Big Braden in the cult classic, the Greasy Strangler. I love movies like that. Movies like I always talk about Diamond and Rough films, but there's also films that I consider movies that you experience. Like, they're just so crazy and out there that they're beyond even a title. Like, it's an experience, and this is definitely one of those films. I loved it. Like, it still sticks with me to this day. It makes me want to watch it again, just even talking about it. So it's just such an experience. That's all I could say. So
Nice.
Moving along, I got some horror news I want to talk about before we get to a little game, part 2 of the game we played last week, and I'm sure you have a new Depravity Corner for us. So we might as well just dig right in. I would like to talk about, I read some news today, and I'm still digesting it. Universal Pictures, they're home to the Universal classic monsters, Wolfman, Dracula, Frankenstein. Everybody knows that. Invisible Man. They were supposed to do this thing called the Dark Universe, where they were going to kind of reboot like all the classic Universal horror films and all the Universal horror monsters, and they were going to all kind of interconnect in this Dark Universe. That kind of fell flat. And with the success of Lee Wannell's The Invisible Man, now I hear that they're going to remake The Wolfman.
Nah.
They remade The Wolfman in 2010 with Benicio del Toro. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was a little uneven. But once I heard this, I'm just like, that makes that look like the remake in The Wolfman. With Ryan Gosling.
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm glad that was your reaction, because I was like, most chicks would be like, ew, Ryan Gosling's gonna do the Wolfman. But it's just so
But
not.
he doesn't go with that.
It doesn't fit the part, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I find it, like, insulting.
strange.
It's
Yeah.
insulting to me. As a Universal Monsters fan, I find it insulting. And I'm just like, I think it's because of the Invisible Man and how successful that was. I hope they're not going to do this reboot, jumpstart shit like with all of them. Just the casting is ridiculous. I hope this is one of those projects that actually falls through or goes the way of the buffalo. But Ryan Gosling, ew, seriously? They could have picked anybody fucking better. Seriously?
Wow.
Like,
Who would you pick?
not fucking Ryan Gosling. I don't know. I'd have to seriously think about it. He'd be more convincing than Ryan fucking Gosling. What's?
What if you love it? What if you love him in it?
I'm not gonna love it.
Okay.
Well, I'll surely go in with an open mind.
Okay.
But it's just such fucking bad casting. I guess it depends on who's doing it. The direction they take, how much they deviate from it. There's a lot of factors, but that's not a good fucking. That's not blowing my skirt up right off the bat. So that being said, one thing that I am positive about is Edgar Wright. I love Edgar Wright. You love Edgar Wright. Everyone loves Edgar Wright. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, one of my favorite movies. I could go on and on and on, man. He's made a ton of great films, but. He had a new psychological horror film I've been looking forward to called One Night in Soho. It was supposed to come out like pretty soon here, but with the Corona apocalypse, it got It got pushed, as everything else did. So, I'm sorry, it's called Last Night in Soho, I think. Anywho, it's supposed to come out, I think it was supposed to be September, but now it's pushed to...
Next year.
Of course. It'll be in April 2021. So,
lovely.
but the still is interesting. You know, just him doing a psychological horror film is intriguing to me. So, you know, Last Night in Soho, I'm looking forward to that. That's something I'm positive about. Not fucking Ryan Gosling. Ugh. The fuck is that? Here's another thing that I'm probably going to bitch about. CBS has just picked up a whole season of a series called Clarice.
Oh boy.
It's going to be
I heard about this.
a spin-off of Silence of the Lambs. Takes place in 1993, which is 1 year directly after Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
It's going to revolve around Clarice Starling, of course, hence the name Clarice. I'm trying to see what her name is. Rebecca Breeds. I never watched Pretty Little Liars because, you know, I'm not a 12-year-old girl. But
I do hear that's a very good show. I've been thinking about it, but again, not a 12-year-old girl, but you know.
I'll pass. But anyway, is there zombies in it? I don't give a fuck. So anyway, this chick is going to be Clarice Starling. I don't really know anything about her, so I can't comment on it. So, but it's going to take place 1 year after. It's going to show how, I guess, apparently, you know, to the mythos, she had like a really challenging upbringing. So that's what actually shaped and developed her into being able to deal with madmen and monsters and serial killers and things. That's an interesting premise.
Yeah.
But I mean, not only that, then it gets into this political thing where I think that's where it's going to fall flat. She's, but I mean, CBS, I don't know. I mean, I love the Twilight Zone. I somewhat enjoyed the reboot of it, but it's still not great.
Right.
I mean, this season might prove me wrong. I don't know what they're going to do with this. I mean, I might be totally wrong, and because I was wrong before. But here's the thing: this is a totally different thing. NBC had Hannibal.
Yeah.
That was a spin-off of Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
I was dead set against it. Nobody could be fucking, you know, Hannibal other than, you know, Anthony Hopkins. I was wrong. It was an incredible fucking show. It got canceled way before its time. Mads Mikkelsen was brilliant as Hannibal Lecter. In fact, fans have still been writing and trying to get it rebooted, so re-picked up. So
Interesting.
I was totally wrong. So I'm hoping this might be the case in this series, but I don't know. It sounds right now I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
I just seen a trailer today for an interesting. I love Italian horror. I mean, you know, Living Blind Dead. You know, Fulci. You know, I could just go on and on. You know, Argento. You know. But anyway, my point is, I love Italian horror.
Yes.
I seen an interesting thing on Netflix coming June 10th. It's a series called Curon, and it's about like this cursed town. It seems very Lovecraftian, which draws me in all the, you know, I love that shit already.
Yeah.
And it's an Italian horror series, and I'm like, ooh. So I gotta definitely, I'm looking forward to that. It looks pretty cool. Interesting. Speaking, I was just speaking of Lee Wannell earlier with, you know, The Invisible Man.
Right.
But a movie of his I feel that doesn't get enough attention at all, which is superb. Was back in, I think it was 2018. There was a movie called Upgrade that came out.
Oh, yeah.
His wife gets in his wife and him get in this car accident. His wife gets murdered. He gets paralyzed, and this company approaches him, and they want to put this experimental thing called STEM in him. That, like, you know, he's a paraplegic, and it like gives him back all his mobility. And then not only that, it talks to him, like there's an inner monologue, and it like, you know, it like teaches him things like on the fly. Like,
oh, wow.
Like there's people after him, and it'll be like, would you like me to upload to your brainstem like karate? And then it's like, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, because he's getting attacked.
Wow.
And then he's a bad motherfucker, man. He knows karate, and like, because it's a really cool,
Nice.
cool premise, really cool film. Don't feel like that's a loss, you know, diamond in the rough for sure. I mean, it was a big release too, and you know, it's a cult classic on video now, but I don't think people give it enough love or seen it. So I always thought I always wanted to see another one. I found out today Blumhouse struck a deal with him. He's actually going to direct it too, getting a sequel in series form. Nobody knows what capacity yet, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or where it's going, but
Right.
it's starting production here very shortly, and we should be out by next year.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. I have to say that. Other than that, I mean, I think it's time to play.
Ooh, we get to play
Part
a
two.
reverse game.
A reverse last week, in case you're tuning in for the first time. We played a little game with Xtina here, and it was called Crazy Questions with Xtina. And the whole premise of the game was, I got to ask her. I just threw darts off a list, and I got to ask her a bunch of crazy questions. I asked her 10 crazy questions, and on the fly, she had to answer them. So this week, the roles have reversed. She's going to ask Balls 10 random crazy questions. I don't know what she's going to pick. I don't know what they are. I'm going to answer on the fly. Now we're going to get to her on brand new Depravity Corner, and we have an interview of Sky Elobar, Greasy Strangler. We're going to call it a day, cats. I'm pretty stressed out. It's been a fucking crazy work week. Went back to work. I hate it.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie to you.
Everybody's all like, "Oh, you're back to work! Congratulations!"
Yeah, everyone's like, congratulations, and fucking
Congratulations.
shooting confetti out of their ass on me. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, oh, thank you. I love going and straining and lifting and pulling and ripping and hurting myself. Yeah, fuck, hey, thanks. Anywho, let's play America's favorite game show.
America's favorite game show.
Yeah.
Questions, strange questions with balls.
Let's play.
Well, alrighty then. Let's see here. What would be the worst thing, in your opinion, that the government could make illegal?
Illegal?
Illegal. So what would be the worst thing that's currently legal that the government would make illegal?
Probably banging, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or masturbation, either one.
Oh yeah.
That'd be tough.
You know, I think masturbation's illegal in like Alabama still or something.
That would explain a lot.
Possibility. All right.
Just kidding. We love you guys in Alabama.
Yeah.
You and your three-headed offspring, we love all you.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely that for sure.
Okay.
No, that would ruin my day for sure.
Okay.
I'd be very, very angry.
All right. Ooh. Okay. What would be the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse?
You mean, does that mean something that's small and you want it bigger?
Yes. You're going to make it a horse, and I guess you could ride it around and stuff.
It's got to be something cute. Platypus.
A platypus is cute?
I think so.
And you would ride your platypus?
Hell yeah, I'd get a saddle for him.
A
I'd
little
be like,
hat?
I'd strap up, Platty. It's time to go, buddy.
Wow. Alrighty.
I love platypi.
I bet you do.
I'm a platypi enthusiast.
You are. I do believe that. Okie dokie. What used to be considered trashy, but is now considered classy?
Ooh, that's a good one. What's considered trashy but not classy?
What used to be? What maybe either in your opinion or in society.
I think in society's opinion, tattoos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
That's a
they
good
used to
one.
you used to look at them and be like, oh, that guy's going nowhere. And then now you look at them and now they're in a cover of GQ and all these other
That's
fucking
right.
things. And now they're socially acceptable. In
Yes.
fact, all these big Hollywood fucktards spend millions of dollars getting fucking tattoos. So,
Oh, I appreciate that. I like that. In fact, just a real quick deviated story, but this girl I follow on Instagram, she has a full sleeve and it's gorgeous, right? And she said that, I don't know if this was recent or, maybe within the last couple of years, some woman come up to her in a public restroom, grabbed her arm and said, if you were my daughter, I'd be ashamed. At this time in our lives. And they're beautiful tattoos. I mean, they're
serious?
not like, the county fair tattoos. Like, they're nice, they're gorgeous, and she looks great. You know, can you imagine somebody doing that to you? Like,
First of all, if anybody touched me now during the Corona apocalypse...
Well, yeah, I don't think this was during that, but this was
Even
within
if.
the last year or so. Still.
She should have told her if you were my mom, I would have pulled a Menendez.
Oh, yeah, I forget. She had some great response to her, so good for her. But, yeah, that was crazy. I thought that was so ignorant. Anywho.
Well, did she just come out of the fucking 18th century?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But who does that, number one? Number two, ugh, I hate
They're
people.
called assholes, and we're surrounded by them.
Yes, this is true. This is true. All right. How do you feel about putting pineapple on pizza? This is a very controversial topic.
It's disgusting.
It is disgusting, right?
In fact, I would unfriend you if you did that.
You know, I feel like not only do neither of us eat pineapple, but even if we did, like it just doesn't go together. One thing Balls and I love is cottage cheese. And I'll be damned if I'm putting fruit in my cottage cheese. Like, that's just so nasty. And I've tried it because that's what...
Ugh.
Society says it's good.
Society doesn't know what the fuck it's
not
talking
good. Society,
about.
not good.
I don't listen to society.
Get
You
your
go
shit
fuck
together.
yourself.
All right.
Society could eat a dick.
Okie dokie. What about? Let's see here. What is the best Wi-Fi name you've ever seen? When you're searching for Wi-Fi.
FBI police van.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that always makes me laugh.
I've seen something like "not your mother's Wi-Fi" or something to that effect, you know. But
that always gives me a chuckle, a little giggle,
a little chuckle. Alrighty. Let's see here. What? Well, this is another controversial, and by controversial, you know. Is a hot dog a sandwich or not?
No.
No? And
I don't
why?
think so. A sandwich is lunch meat and cold cuts and shit like that.
I agree. People tend to think a hot dog can be considered a sandwich. I disagree as well.
Oh, they're wrong.
It is an entity all on its own.
It is. It is a very unique property.
That's
made
right.
of lips and assholes and fucking elbow skin of midgets and.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're so delicious.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. All right. Well, let's wrap this here up. What?
Yeah, we got depravity to get to.
Oh boy, do we ever. What kind of secret society would you like to start?
Ooh. Secret society. Oh, there's so many options.
True. A secret nerd society of gamers, a secret society of horror nerds.
Yeah.
That'd probably be you. Huh?
Yeah, we'd have to do secret society for nerds.
I don't know why it'd have to be a secret, but then again, you don't want everybody involved, so you'd have to like pick and choose who's in.
Yes, we'd be very, very.
You'd have
careful.
to like submit your application. Make sure
I would want somebody to be like, yeah,
worthy.
like, you know, I watched.
Scream once.
Yeah, like that shitty. Oh, what the hell was that fucking stupid show with the vampires?
Twilight.
Yeah, I want somebody like, oh, I love horror movies. I've seen Twilight. I'd be like, you get the fuck out of here.
That's right.
Here's no admittance to this club. You could fucking kick rocks.
That's great. All right. Well, I think that wraps up the crazy questions.
That wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't too bad.
Well, anyway, let's get to the goods. What everybody loves. You know her. I love her. Let's get to Xtina and Depravity Corner. Do you have a fucked up story for us this week?
Well, of course I do. Don't I always? And it
Yeah,
seems
you do. You really do. You raise the bar.
it seems like they're getting more and more fucked up now that the world's opening up.
It really
see.
does, man. I
Did you
really
notice
thought
that?
it was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, it's wild. You know, like a little bit of leniency, and of course, the whole world's falling to shit now. So you know. So, unfortunately, I feel, I guess, some sort of societal obligation to do this story, as well as it's been breaking my heart for the past 5 days, so I have to discuss it. I know everybody's probably sick of seeing it, but that's the problem. We can't be sick of seeing it. We have to discuss it. So, if you haven't heard the name George Floyd by now, you must live on planet Mars or under a rock, or you're just very good at staying off the internet and not watching the news.
I even heard of that.
I know, and if Balls heard about it,
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, trust me. And so, unfortunately, George Floyd is no longer with us. May he rest in peace. He was a black guy, 46 years old, doing some work, originally from Houston, Texas. He was had moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I can't imagine anybody lives because it gets so freaking cold in the winters, and it's just so mind-blowing to me. But and especially to move from Houston, whew, that's quite a climate change there.
I've been there before.
Yes, I have too. It's a lovely city, very lovely. But you know, very
the
cold.
police department is, however, not.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You know, and what's funny is, so this guy moved there for, I guess, a new career opportunity, what have you. He did like bouncing type jobs. He worked security in different places. He drove some trucks and things like that. So he was kind of a jack of all trades. What happened is not super clear, but my understanding of it is there was a call because a black man was purchasing cigarettes in a convenience store, and he happened to have a fake $20 bill. Okay.
How did they know it was fake?
I don't know. This is my question. So either the convenience store person must have realized it, or maybe they were... there's not a lot of backstory coming out about this, and that's what I would like to hear, because that's really interesting to me. But it's kind of a moot point, to be honest with you, given everything that's happened, so it doesn't really matter. Let's pretend that he did in fact know that this was a fake $20 bill, okay? So he knew. Okay, do you deserve to die if you're spending a forged 20? No. So, you know, what if he didn't know? And yeah, and how did the person, you know, I know they do this goofy thing where they hold this up to the light and then they run some kooky pen over it or whatever. So I guess they called the cops and said, hey, there's a forgery in progress. So they show up, the cops are blazing. Clearly, you know, not much goes on in Minneapolis. This is their excitement. So they have 4 cops show up, and I guess George had already got in his car, and he was with a couple other dudes, and they drag him out of this car and, you know, kind of throw him up against the ground and just kind of like, you know, start reading him his rights, I guess, and, you know, finding out what's going on. I guess they had enough proof that he was in fact using a forged 20, so whatever, okay. And then somehow they move him to another location in front of some other store, and he's not resisting arrest. He is not armed. He is, like, none of these things. And they claimed that he was resisting arrest, which the store owner then put out the footage, video surveillance footage. Again, people, videos everywhere. Can't make shit up these days. He was not resisting arrest. It's very evident that he was not resisting arrest. You know, maybe was he running his mouth a little bit? Probably, but again, is that a death sentence? Nah. So, you know, I don't know how it got to this point, but there's 4 cops, and they got this guy in cuffs, and he's down on the ground, and this, I won't even call him a man, this monster of a cop is kneeling on this dude's neck, full body weight, kneeling, with his hand in his pocket, just looking around real nonchalantly, while this poor dude is like screaming, dude, you're choking me, I can't breathe, you're killing me, what are you doing, you know? And all the people, there's people around, granted they're videoing it, but they kind of had to, and they're trying to get involved, but there's 4 cops, and like, what's a cop gonna do if somebody tries to like pull a cop off of a black guy, criminal, supposed criminal, right? So everybody's hands were kind of tied. I mean, to be honest with you, who should have been pulling him off of this man? The 3 other police officers, not one of them, They were all supportive in this. But the main dude, and this was, from my understanding, went on for 8 minutes. And of course, Mr. Floyd passed out, they had to take him to the hospital where he then died. Now, I'm sure that we're waiting on an autopsy. I'm assuming it's going to show asphyxiation as the cause of death, would be my assumption. This was cold freaking blooded murder.
In broad daylight.
What?
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight, everybody watching. People on the street are begging this cop to stop it. This is blatant effing racism. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your political beliefs. I don't care what your race. This is plain and utter disgusting murder. And now I get it. Now I get it. That it was racism at its absolute most disgusting. I can't even explain it. There was no need for this. Absolutely no need for this. Even if, let's assume that this man just committed a murder. What if he did? What if he just committed a murder and he was running from the police and then the police said stop, and he didn't stop. Then there's maybe, then I can understand, okay, the police have to do their job and they have to shoot somebody or what have you. That's kind of a different story. That was not the case. That was not the case. If this, and the cops are not judge and jury. The cops are here to serve and protect. And even a criminal, even if this man was committing a murder, he still, unfortunately, has rights. And an ironic twist, of course, all kind of things are going around on the internet. I saw a picture of, I don't even remember who it was, I didn't care to look into it, but it was a white dude who had just committed a few murders, and the cop was pouring a drink of water in his mouth. Again, humane, because they are human and they deserve humanity. This man committed murders, and that cop had the decency to give this man a drink of water. And a man's going to try to use a forged 20, and because he's black and you're a fucking asshole racist, you're going to kneel on him and kill him? It ain't happening. And you know who else is fucking worked up about this shit? Other cops. Because you know why? This gives them all a bad name. And they ain't all bad. They ain't all bad. In fact, it's funny. If anybody watches Good Girls, the black girl Retta is her name, the actress's name. I follow her on Instagram, and she was making her comments and things today, and she said, you know who I feel bad for? They were outside of the cop's house and people were vandalizing it, which we'll get to that in a minute. And she's like, you know who I feel bad for in this? These cops here that are now having to, fight and protect all the people from all this vandalism. She goes, they didn't ask for this.
Yeah, they're guilty by association.
Yeah, they didn't ask for this. And God forbid one of these cops' lives get taken because they,
because of four dumb fucks.
Or dealing with rioting, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Now, here's what I don't like. I understand everybody's angry. I'm angry. Trust me, if this was in my town, I probably would be. I'm not usually one of these rah-rah protesters, but this is when you protest. I absolutely 110,000% agree. This is a justified protest for sure, no doubt about it.
Yep.
Why are we setting things on fire? I understand we're angry. I'm angry. I get it. We're angry. Set things on fire. Set a couch on fire. Set inanimate objects on fire. I don't know. But you're setting your entire city on fire. You're setting, Target and TJ Maxx and all those places, whatever, fuck them. They have insurance. They will come back. But you're going to set little, Joe and Molly's, flower shop that they've had from their grandparents for 45 years, and you're going to set that on fire in the middle of a pandemic? They're not going to get that back. So they've lost their livelihood. That to me is a little sketch and a little selfish. I don't like that. I don't like that. I understand the anger. I understand. I want to understand, and I want to support the protest. But what I don't support and what doesn't get Mr. Floyd justice is you fucking looting Target. Okay, again, Target has insurance. They'll make their money back. I don't fucking care about that part of it. But what part of your brain says, I need to walk out with this 55-inch television because you killed George Floyd? That's really going to show them. No, it doesn't fucking show them anything. It shows them that you're a fucking asshole is what it shows.
That's called an opportunist that gives a less than a fuck about the topic at hand.
And I literally saw a woman, and they had video footage everywhere, you know, everybody has a fucking camera out now. Inside this Target, there's a woman, she got a shopping cart, she's going around putting, it's kind of funny to be honest with you, but it's terrible at the same time. She's putting rugs in there, and she's getting draperies, and I'm like, are you fucking for real right now, lady? Are you kidding me? What would Martin Luther King say to you? This is not it. This is not it. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this. It's got me so worked up. I don't like the destruction of the city. I don't, you know, and I know, you know, it's funny, like on the internet and everybody in these groups have all these opinions and they're like, well, peaceful protests don't work. And okay, I will give you that. I will give you that. I understand. You have to be loud. You have to be, you know, you have to do something. And look, you set the fucking town on fire. The guy finally got arrested today, so I guess it does work. Which kind of sucks, because now, you know, that's going to happen more often. But again, setting the police office, they set the department on fire. Not right. Okay, understandable. But setting like apartment buildings and all this other stuff on fire, it can't keep happening. You're ruining people's livelihoods. You're ruining a beautiful, beautiful city. So I don't like that. One last thing, and then I'll turn over to Ball's opinions. One thing I did like, again, it's wrong, but I also liked it a lot. They went to the man's house, the cop, and honestly, I don't know his name. Derek something, I don't fucking care. He doesn't deserve a name. They went to the monster's house, and they fucking spray painted his driveway, pig, you know, you killed this man, and, you know, whatever, killer, and I don't know. Anyway, but they did that. They did that to this man's house, the cop's house, and I agree. I applaud it. Is it wrong? Absolutely. But is it great? Absolutely. I love it. So, with that being said, I don't know. I have nothing else to say. I've just been sick about this all week because it's not just about, you know, it's about injustice. But then it's also about us as humans. And, you know, I don't know. There's just nothing. Balls, help me out. Say some things. I'm spent. I'm so spent.
I'll be glad when I can, like, do a show.
And we don't have
and
to
I
talk
don't
about
have
racism.
to talk about racism anymore.
Right.
It's such a tired and fucking foolish concept. It's not surprising to me that they set the fucking town on fire. When you get mob rule and mob mentality, nothing good comes out of it. There's no forethought. There's no looking at the bigger picture of what it'll affect, you know, be it your mom and pop businesses and places like that. It's just burn the motherfucker to the ground. Figure it out later.
Yeah.
You know, whoever gets hurt, gets hurt. Whoever dies, dies. That's not a good way to protest.
No.
I mean, I understand the anger, understand the lashing out, but if you want to be taken seriously, you have to do things the right way.
Somewhat.
At least somewhat. You know, you don't want to be as bad as the monsters.
Yes. Like what I always say, two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
And all that,
in this case, it's the same. I mean, do I get it? Sure. And this dude, he dug his own grave. I mean, he's a marked man no matter where he goes. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time before these cops are history. So and good, fuck them. They deserve to die.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna be that much of a, you know, if you're gonna be that much of a fucking asshole, hey man, you know, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. It's gonna happen. So you should have thought about that before you acted like a douche. So
right.
It just exhausts me at this point that. In this age, that this is the shit that's fucking in the news every day and important. Yeah. We have so many major issues other than this, and this is such a stupid thing.
Right. And
people just continue to, you know, perpetuate it and thrive on it and fucking spread it. And I mean, this, you know, this is, you know, if we are in fact really going to have a new normal, how about we fucking just accept people for who they are and fucking stop with all this bullshit.
I know.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. We talk about it every fucking week.
There is nothing.
It's almost like the new school shootings. Like, I mean, well, it's either school shooting black man's
Racism
killed,
or- yeah.
racism. I can't stand it, man.
I know.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
This show's supposed to be funny, and I tell you what, it's like a screeching halt of a fucking.
Yeah.
I can't
And I'm sorry
stand it.
about that. I am, but it has to be addressed. It does. I can't, we can't go on and not address it. It would be an injustice. But also, this is ironic as well. They arrested him, and I heard today that he is charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter.
Of course he is.
Third-degree murder. So, if anybody follows true crime like I do, chances are, if he gets locked up for 5 years, it'll be a miracle. That's what he's going to
He's not. He'll be out in 1 year,
And,
2 years
yep.
in good behavior, and he's
Yep.
going to be in solitary because they're going to stick his ass if they put him
Yep.
with the general population.
Yeah.
But it ain't going to make a difference. The minute he gets out, somebody's going to get him.
I was going to say, he's
So,
going to want to go to jail and be in
You
solitary.
can't look over your shoulder the rest of your life.
Yeah,
They
he's
just
doomed,
dug their
so-
graves, man. They're dead.
Yep.
They're walking dead men. And
That's
mark
right.
my words, you're going to see it eventually in the news. This guy's done. He's done. He's over. So, good. Fuck him.
Good riddance. Hopefully the rest of them get arrested because they're just as guilty. They deserve, accomplice charges or what have you because that's bullshit. They did
Them
nothing.
watching is as bad as doing
Yes.
in my book. So
They're-
all four
they
of
didn't
them.
help.
All
When you
four of
take an
them-
oath as a cop, you are there to protect and serve. Protect and serve. Ugh. Be different if the man was trying to shoot you or something. That's
In
different.
fucking Minnesota to boot.
I know.
Seriously.
Really? It just
I've been to Minnesota. It's one of
Everybody's so
the.
sweet
It's so
and-
sweet and boring and
Exactly.
saccharine and seriously.
crazy. So it's crazy. I my heart goes out to you, Minnesotans. It breaks for you. It hurts for you. My heart goes out to the black folk. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Hopefully next week we will not be doing a story on racism because it's enough. Enough is enough. Let's move on, folks, and let's have an awesome interview. What do you think about that?
Let's move along to something a little more less depressing.
Yeah,
And then,
I agree.
Let's talk about the Greasy Strangler. It's a cult classic. Balls loves it. Gonna talk to one of the main characters in it, Sky Elobar. Hope you dig it, cats, and if you do, check out the film. He's also in a movie called Candy Corn, and he's got a bunch of stuff coming up, but I'll let him tell you about that. So, check it out, cats. Hope you dig it. Hey now, cats. We're back again this week on the Balls from Ellwood Show, and with me, I have a man that I absolutely love. You might know him from the Greasy Strangler. You might know him from Candy Corn and many other films. I have with me Sky Elobar. How you doing, brother?
Great, man. How are you?
I am really good. I just wanted to start off by asking you, let's talk a little bit about you growing up in Pittsburgh. We're Pittsburgh natives as well, so what was it like growing up in Pittsburgh for you?
Really great, man. I love Pittsburgh, and I still do. And it's changed a lot since growing up. I mean, the city is not the city that I knew when going downtown and shopping and going to the department stores. That doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. It's more of a corporate thing.
Well, yeah, it's definitely branched out that way for sure.
Everything went out into the suburbs. Everything's in the suburbs. Where when I grew up, it was, downtown.
The Kaufman House and Gimbals. Yeah, I remember Gimbals.
Gimbals, Kaufman's, J.C. Horns. The theater there, the big theater on Fifth Avenue. I can't remember the name of the theater. I saw tons of movies there, and just phenomenal town to grow up in, man, because it's a real self-contained type universe in Pittsburgh.
Now, let me ask you this. Were you a fan of horror films growing up?
First movie I ever saw my dad showed me was House on Haunted Hill with
Vincent Price. Oh, that's classic, man. I've got the bug since I was probably 7 or 8 years old. There's you'd be familiar with him because you were on it. Remember Chilly Billy?
Oh, yeah.
That's who got me into horror, man. I've been hooked since I was a kid ever since. And I actually got to meet him before he passed, and I got to tell him
how much you meant to me, because if it wasn't for me growing up laying on the floor watching those movies, I probably wouldn't be the dude I am today. So that was pretty cool. What are some of your favorite horror films?
Well, House on Haunted Hill.
I'm a big Vincent Price fan, man. I could go on all day.
Alien.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let me think, man. Horror. Rosemary's
Stuff, right?
Baby. It's not really
That's a good
horror,
one. Yeah.
but it's what genre would you call that?
I would say that's horror. I mean, there's a lot of psychological in it, but I mean,
Supernatural.
yeah. I mean, there's so many subgenres, it's ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, that's just a classic. I mean, I grew up in all this stuff. I love Hammer films. I love Vincent Price, man. I got pretty much everything he's ever did. It's weird. We're almost living in Last Man on Earth right now, if you minus the vampires.
Say that again.
I said we're almost living in the film Last Man on Earth, if you minus out the vampires.
Yeah, wow.
It's kind of weird. I was watching it the other night and it kind of got spooky for me. I'm like, man, this is kind of like what's going on right now if you just take out the vampire element. It's kind of weird. But
I love vampire movies. I love anything vampire.
do you like 30 Days a Night? I always thought that was pretty good.
I loved it. I loved the Interview with the Vampire.
That's good. What about John Carpenter's Vampires? That was pretty badass.
Loved it.
Oh, Bram
Stoker's.
Oh yeah, man.
Blade.
Oh, that's kind of an under the they kind of. Oh, I don't really see too many anymore. That's really I got that Netflix series was really good. I just watched that. You'd enjoy that. I think.
Love it.
Yeah, it was great.
And you know what I like horror TV is Penny Dreadful, not the new one, but the one that was on Showtime or HBO
that's one of those things in my queue list I never get around to. I'm gonna have to check it out, man, because I keep hearing.
Not the one. It's not the new show about the detective.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's been in my queue forever. I just never got around to it.
Got Timothy Dalton as the lead.
Yeah, I never got to watch it yet. I keep hearing it's incredible. So
It's incredible.
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah. So
hey, you were in a band in Pittsburgh, right? Local Pittsburgh band,
called Seventh House.
Oh yeah, I swear I've heard. I swear you guys are really familiar. I think I might have seen you before.
We played all the big shows around Pittsburgh.
We had everywhere. I know. I've probably seen you at least once or twice. Yeah.
And I don't know if you were going to ask this because I think I mentioned it to you offline. We're going to do a movie based on my band.
That's cool as hell, man. I would totally be down for that.
It's not horror. It's more
like a biopic.
Not loosely based, but it's got a storyline involved with it. That's a human story, and it's real compelling, and it's I think suits the present perfectly.
I love shit like that, man. When can we look forward to seeing that? Is it being shot yet, or when's it coming out?
No, we're finishing up the script, and we're going to shoot it in German.
Oh, nice. That sounds awesome, dude. You're definitely gonna have
branching out, from Greasy Strangler, Candy Corn, horror stuff to, broadening my horizons here a little bit. No. Not that I don't love to be pigeonholed into a horror.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being well-rounded. I like a great film if it's just a great film. I prefer horror, but I love tons of other stuff too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to be a little well-rounded. You definitely, when you're done, you have to come back and we could talk about that, man. That'd be awesome. So,
absolutely.
Tell me about your formative years, though. Like, were your parents supported your goals growing up? I mean, band-wise.
Yeah. I wasn't an actor then, didn't have aspirations to be an actor. I was a musician and studied music, went to Berklee College of Music, went to New England Conservatory, played jazz, classical music, and then branched out into, more commercial, like rock, not commercial, but, something more accessible to a mass audience.
How did the transition between musician to actor happen?
That happened when we moved from New York City to LA after 9/11.
Mm.
I came out here to LA, and it's a whole other beast out here. And it really is a beast. And the music industry kind of went after 9/11 and got sidetracked, and my wife pulled me down to this company called LA Casting, where they take your picture and put it on a website, and you self-submit yourself.
Oh shit! No way.
To projects, and I submitted to a movie and got booked and booked the role, and it was my first big role. It was a thing called Nothing But the Truth. It was a Nike skateboarding movie with acting in it, and got my SAG card from then, and just got an agent and just rolled with it.
Can you tell me that definitive moment where you decided that you wanted to have acting as a profession? Was it that, or was it something else? I mean, do you consider that your first big break?
I never think about acting as a profession. I just don't. I think of it as like a creative world, a creative endeavor. Like a project comes at you, like the Greasy Strangler. I'd met Jim Hosking in LA doing auditions.
I'm glad you're bringing this up, because that was my next question. I wanted to know how you ended up into the Greasy Strangler.
And he brought me this, and I read it, and I'm like, this is a project. So I wasn't really thinking about like, oh, profession, going out and being not that there's anything wrong with that, and not that doesn't take incredible amount of skill to go out and be a professional actor working NCIS and house and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Working the circuit, so to speak. I never really got on the circuit of acting. I got projects thrown at me, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And like Under the Silver Lake, I approached, and I read the script, and I was like, holy crap, is this phenomenal? So does that answer your question?
Yeah. That's interesting that it happens that way. That's kind of unique. That's cool. But not only that, I would love to ask you, what do you get recognized a lot now that you were in the Greasy Strangler from people, and they are always yelling like shit from the movie out at you? Do you ever have that?
When I'm in Hollywood at coffee shops and hanging out with another friend of mine who was in the Greasy Strangler, people come up to me and say, I love the movie. I love this. But they're film people.
Oh, okay.
They're like film addicts.
So you don't have people coming up and yelling bullshit artist or hootie tootie disco cutie all the time?
Yeah, like it's infrequent, but most of them are film addicts, and I see them around Hollywood, like in Hollywood.
That's cool.
At coffee shops or at a pizza place or somewhere. They're like film addicts. But it's not that much. Mostly on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, people hit me up and they want like, what does it cost if you'll sign this for me or this and that? It comes mostly from there, not on the street as much.
Huh. Interesting. Now let me ask you this: how did you get into character to play Big Braden? Was there a routine you had to get into, or how much? Let me ask you this: how much of the real you is in that character, if any at all?
I don't think any of the real me is in there.
Like, how did you prepare to play such a off the wall character?
My voice right now, other than my voice, I mean, it kind of fell into after reading the script and reading this ridiculously odd dialogue, great dialogue, and nothing was improvised in this script. It was all everything you hear is written, and it's just brilliant, weird, offbeat dialogue. Trying to get into that, the dialogue, and working through that, and then getting into the character, gaining weight, growing my hair a certain way, and getting the glasses, cutting the facial hair, and getting the look together. then I think the character fell into place when I was on set and before table read rehearsals on set. I think it fell into place. My demeanor and, you know, how this character would be, this 40-something, you know, guy who has never been with a woman before, you know, who says, only in my most secret dreams.
It's such a unique movie. I love it, man. What's your favorite memory of filming that? Is there one that stands out?
Wow, there's a lot. I loved the stuff we did in the forest, running around in the forest in the greasy outfits. I love the theater thing where we pulled the eyes out of, popped the eyes out of Janet. And
it's some great effects too, man. For a movie that caliber, that's some really good effects.
There were so many great things. Running out of the house in my underwear and falling down on the street. And
what was the most challenging part of filming the Greasy Strangler?
Just getting 3,000% committed to everything. You know, to wearing the underwear, not feeling like I'm feeling odd in walking around in these underwear all day. You know, like really, really getting comfortable with, you know, that's the most challenging thing, committing everything.
Has there ever been a time in your acting career when it was easier to play a character than be yourself?
Sometimes the character, you fall into the character, you find the character. Sometimes you don't. It's like writing a song or singing a song. It's like sometimes you sing the song and you're not feeling it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody gives you a song, and sometimes you grab a song and you're like, I feel this. Something about the lyric resonates with you. Yeah. You start singing it. You start getting
in the groove,
more emotional about the thing. It depends. You know, it really depends on your mood, you know. But I can usually tell, you know, you read something, you say, yeah, I'd love to play this character. I'd love to get into this character.
Let me ask you this. If they were going to do a biopic about your life as an actor, who would you want to play you? Who do you feel would be a good Sky?
That's a great question. I've never thought about that, man. Let me think about that for a second. Brad Pitt.
All right. How about like the fall Brad Pitt? What do you think?
You know why?
Why?
I'd love to see his acting chops getting into me.
That would be fucking cool, man. Like, I mean, he's pretty versatile too. I think he could honestly do it. That's a good pick. What do you do in the downtime on a movie set? I mean, normally there's tons of it, right? Like, what do you do to keep occupied?
Talk to actors. You know, walk over to craft service and drink coffee, and you know, make sure I have my lines, that I don't, you know, not off with the lines, that they're like they're there. Kind of whatever you would do in downtime, you know, just get pumped up, you know, stay pumped up, stay in character. I did this movie with Alex Pettifer. Mm-hmm. You know who he is? He was in Mad Mike.
Oh, okay.
Is it called Mad Mike, or the thing with Channing Tatum?
No, you're talking about Magic Mike, yeah.
Magic Mike. Yeah. So I did a movie with him called Back Roads. And as in the movie, they cut every one of my scenes and all the scenes in the grocery store where I worked with him that were gone.
Why?
Everybody was cut. I don't know why, creative reasons, but they were having some kind of a technical problem. We were back in the freezer section of this grocery store in St. Francisville, Louisiana. And they were having technical difficulties, and Alex was directing as well as acting. And he's a phenomenal actor, by the way. he left and he turns to me and says, "We're going to take a quick break. We're having problems. Sky, stay in the zone." And I'm like, that's kind of what you try to do when you're working, is stay in the zone.
Now, let me ask you this. What if you get out of the zone? How do you get back in, like when you have to? It's just go time and you got to...
You sweat your balls off getting back into it.
What would be your dream role? Or is it something that you did already? I mean, is there something you'd like to play that you haven't?
These scripts that I'm writing,
Mm-hmm.
The one that's going to be done in Germany, this is a role that I really want to play.
Mm.
It's a role about an ex-musician who works at a grocery store and has left music behind, and finds this grocery store who's a really nice mom and pop store, like the Co-op in Pittsburgh. The Co-op, and there's this gigantic monster called Alco in the script. It's like Costco. It's like they're trying to crush.
That's who's killing all the little guy.
Yeah,
kind of like in real life.
It's real life, and they go into a financial crisis, and Jerry, my character, gets the band back together to save the store.
That sounds awesome. I'm in.
Saving Szymanski's.
You mentioned earlier about when you were in a film set. Have you ever worked with difficult people that you couldn't get along with, and how do you soldier through that?
I've never worked with anyone difficult.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
No. Everyone. I don't know. At that level, I guess I'm not at that level. When you get to that level, when people are just doing films because they have to do films, it's a filler film. They get on with little nerves and they get on with a little attitude, come on set. It's not like they're coming up and they're like in the zone and focusing and staying positive. They're stars, and they've got problems going on, and I haven't had that experience yet. And I don't look forward to it.
That's good, man. I hope you never do. That's rare. Tell me, what's one thing about you that your fans may not know that may surprise them? Hater. Did
I get a lot of calls every day, robo calls every day, and it really pisses me off.
I get those too, man. I'd say here. What's the best part and the worst part about being an actor?
The worst part is probably the downtime between jobs. Keeping yourself pumped, keeping yourself excited, keeping the dream alive, so to speak. In our band in Seventh House, we had a song called "Keep the Dream Alive." That's pretty much, that's the hard part. The good part of it is you have a lot of free time to explore things, travel, drink wine.
Nice.
Eat food. Eat good food like Permanis.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. Oh. Let me ask you this, sir. Have you ever encountered old friends now that you're famous? And do they treat you differently now? Like, how do they handle it?
I think my friends are all the same, man. I haven't really come in contact with old friends. I've pretty much stayed.
Huh. So you've had like the same group
for the band. I still know the band, and nobody's changed. I mean, nothing's changed. They're supportive and they're psyched.
That's awesome.
And I talk to a friend back in Pittsburgh once a week, twice a week, who works at a tech company out of San Francisco that does music merchandise, and he works mobily from home in Pittsburgh. And he came to New York with us when we first went to New York in Seventh House, and hung out with us. And I've known him for 20 years, man.
Wow.
Almost.
That's awesome.
So it's Nothing's changed.
Let me ask you this: what is the weirdest thing that a fan has ever asked of you? Hopefully, it's not this interview.
Weirdest thing that a fan has ever.
Have you ever had weird fans like when you go to cons and stuff?
No, I don't. I try to steer away from the weird fans. It's these conventions and these outings. We did one in Omaha. They're pretty tame. I mean, people are really psyched about the movies. They buy the hats. They buy the shirts.
I was gonna say, man, those are pretty fly hat and shirt. Where about can I get one of those, or anybody that's watching this? I think I'd like to order one of those.
Hit me up, man.
Just hit you up on
DM.
Just slide into the DM on what, Instagram or
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. DM me.
Yeah, those are cool. Holy cow! But moving on, describe to me your.
I just sent a signed script. The script. I have copies of script. The script that we have. Yeah, and I signed it and sent it to Canada. Somebody bought it in Canada.
Do you have any of those left?
Yeah, I do.
Nice. So you hear that, cats? Let's order.
There's 13 scenes that are deleted from that.
Oh, no way.
That were never. Yeah, so people get a kick out of watching the movie and seeing what scenes are not there and what they actually were thinking.
I don't know.
That's a great thing.
Well, I think we're gonna have to order some stuff here.
DM me, man.
You heard that? DM Sky, and he'll hook you up, man. So, hey, describe to me your worst blind date growing up.
Blind date?
Yeah.
I don't think I had a date until I was 21, man. I was a total guitar nerd.
Chicks never presented themselves to you when you were in a band?
No. I was a nerd, man. I hung out in my parents' basement playing guitar all day and hung out with a friend, Steve Hardy, and all we did was play guitars. I was obsessed with the guitar, man. Even though I did play upright bass and study upright bass, I was obsessed with the guitar. And I think I pretty much owned every guitar that anybody ever wanted, a collectible guitar.
Wow.
I owned it. It's sold now.
Now, does being an actor or a musician, does that ever affect your relationships, be it personal or friends or otherwise? Does that get in the way? Is there you have to make a perfect balance between that and normal life?
I'm in such a bubble out here. LA is such when I lived in Boston and went to music school there, you could literally throw a stone or throw a quarter and hit a musician. Everybody was a musician. Out here, everybody's an actor. It's just it's a strange world, man. So you go into the auditions, you see people, you leave. You go home, you walk your dog, you go to a job, you go to the audition, you see people.
And repeat.
It's just Groundhog Day.
Let me ask you this. Who's given you the most inspiration and support in your career?
My wife. She got me into it.
Nice.
So any roles that you see in the future that you don't like, blame it on her.
What's the best?
She pulled me down to a place called LA Casting, and they took a picture, and I started self-submitting to these crazy stuff, commercials, TV, film. So LA Casting is really great.
What's the best gift anybody's ever given you?
Probably the Greasy Strangler.
Oh, nice. So that's the take on.
That was a gift. And I gotta say, Don Verdeen, Jared Hess's movie with Sam Rockwell. That was a gift.
I didn't see that one. I'll have to check it out. It's
called Don, D-O-N, Verdeen, V-E-R-D-E-A-N. I played a pretty big role in there with Will Forte and Sam
lovely.
Rockwell and Danny McBride, and that was a gift.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check out. That sounds great, man. I like all those cats. If you could go in a time machine and go back and tell yourself key advice, what would you say?
Be an actor now. Don't wait, don't do a music thing and then wait. Do it now. Because you get so much further ahead with time. It takes 10 years, 5 to 10 years to just start for the industry, the casting people, etc., directors to know who you are, producers to know who you are. It takes a long time to get your face in there and let them see what talent you have. And, if I would have had 10 years before that, man, it's great. It's a great profession to have. It's a great work to have. Really is. I love it.
Well, now, let me ask you this. What would you think you'd be doing had you not chose that as a path? Would it be musician or would you choose something else?
Wow. Probably flipping houses in LA.
I know people that did that around here and they even did well. So,
what's that?
I know people that actually did it around here and they did well. So I can imagine out there you'd probably make a killing for sure.
Flipping houses in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania? Yeah, because it's a place that the real estate market, they say, is gonna go up.
Who's someone you admire that you haven't got to work with yet?
Tom Savini.
Oh yeah.
He's from he grew up. He's older than I am, but he grew up right down the street from me in Bloomfield, and he still lives there.
Doesn't he? He scares kids on Halloween. He dresses up every Halloween. Did he do that when you were growing up still?
I wasn't aware of him.
Have you ever had a bad day on a movie set? And how do you get through that? Like, I mean, you're there, you can't leave. It's miserable. Like, how do you mentally just get through that?
Wow. Just pray. Just pray that it all goes well. And you do your best work. You just hope you do your best work, man. You keep doing really good work and not get distracted because, you don't want to do shitty stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, you work to find you. So I get that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you commit yourself and you go and you do it. You hope you did really well. It's hard to tell, man.
I tell you what, I'm going to close things up here, but I would like to ask you one last thing. Do you have any words of inspiration for my listeners on how to deal with all the craziness that's going on right now? How are you coping?
I have a little puppy named Coco.
Oh, that's cute.
He's at the vet right now. A drop off, social distancing drop off at the vet. Keep your puppy close. Keep your loved ones close, and try to get out and do a walk. Try to walk. Take the time to exercise out. It really helps your mental stability. And watch a lot of movies. Watch The Greasy Strangler, man.
I got a ball approval on that one. For sure.
It will expand your horizons. It will expand. It will.
Now, one more time, man. Can you let's remind people that you can go to drop in your DMs. You can order that fly shirt you got on, that awesome hat.
Sky Elobar.
Sky Elobar.
SkyElobar. Sky Elobar. On Twitter, Facebook.
Signed scripts, even all kinds of great shit, man. So everybody get on there. Check that shit out. There you have it. The man, the myth, the legend, Sky Elobar. Thank you so much for doing this, my friend. I'm a fan. Love you, man. Peace and love.
Thank you.
Make sure you come back once maybe once that movie's done. I'd love to have you back so we can talk about it.
Peace.